Man, did I make the biggest mistake I've ever made navigating on any road trip. This may be one of our lesser known national parks.
I had certainly never heard of it until we decided to take this trip and map it out, and it is spectacular.
Welcome to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, right above Montrose, Colorado. Leaving Moab, you see some really interesting formations and colors. It's about 3 hours to the Black Canyon from Moab, and most of that is I-70. That green is from lack of iron in the dirt. We were heading into Colorado and to breakfast, and I'd heard some great stuff about the Dream Cafe in Grand Junction, especially that we had to get a cinnamon roll to go. Harry had the Eggs Benedict, which is always his favorite, and I had the blueberry muffin pancakes. The portions are huge, so if you're traveling, you may want to share an order. We were delighted to see pronghorn before making it to the park entrance, where, of course, we took our selfie and entered the park.
It is like the worst national park road that we have ever seen.
We were not prepared to deal with such bad park road, but the very first pullout comes quickly and it takes your breath away. 60 million years ago, a small area of land uplifted, jutting the 1.8 billion year old metamorphic rock to high elevations. This is called the Gunnison Uplift. 30 million later, large volcanoes erupted on either side, burying it in volcanic rock. Then about 2 million years ago, the Gunnison River began flowing in force, creating this canyon. Of course, our next stop was the Visitor Center, and the one place you will see a whole bunch of people. Only about 300,000 people visit the Black Canyon, compared to the 4.5 million who visit Zion. So this means you have the views nearly to yourself. We got our stamp and sticker and a stunning view of the Gunnison Point overlook. Harry couldn't resist walking out there to that platform.
Let's take a walk to the Gunnison Point. I keep saying Gunnison. It's Gunnison Point overlook. Get it straight, Harry. All right. As you can see, it is down this little trail. They have some stairs cut in for assistance, and we're going to walk down to the overlook. It is tremendous, even before the overlook. Wow. So I guess this is one of the steepest, or the steepest and deepest canyons in North America.
If you can handle the elevation gain on the way back up, this is an incredible viewpoint. The dim light did make it hard to film, but it was extra dramatic.
That's the visitor center, right on the edge of the canyon. The views are just really spectacular. This is very striking. You can see all the way down there at the bottom. That's the Gunnison River.
I stayed up with Wendy and explored the visitor center. Let's learn about this place. Metamorphic rocks usually start out as sedimentary or igneous rock, but when buried deep in the earth, intense heat and pressure cook or bake them into completely new rock, creating the banding. There are many things you can do here other than hiking. There's cross-country skiing, rock climbing, backpacking, and kayaking via permit. I went back out to the back balcony and found more wildflowers. And can you see it? That's a golden mantled ground squirrel, and it was fun watching him as he found food and as Harry made his way out to the point, where he found his own critters to watch. along with stunning views of the depths of the canyon.
Just spectacular. And if you have any fear of heights, this will give you vertigo. And hopefully I'm getting those two that just took off, all three of them, and swooping back around the land.
You can see that the edge of the path goes very close to the edge of the canyon, so please be very careful here, especially with kids.
So I walked down to the overlook, and on the way back up, I got a little winded. I live at sea level. This is 8,200 feet. Walking uphill up staircases is a thing.
You know, because of all that scrub, you'd have to almost literally stumble onto this canyon.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, and it just drops straight off. It's the sheerest, steepest canyon in North America, I believe. And it is a sheer drop off. It just cuts right. It's like a knife cutting. It's amazing.
Everywhere you drive in this park has these hide-and-seek views of the sheer drops. So close to the edge. Like the Grand Canyon, there are several different overlooks. Like this one, Pulpit Rock, which shows all the way down to the Gunnison River. The Gunnison River drops an average of 43 feet per mile through the canyon, 6 times more than the Colorado River does through the Grand Canyon. With amazing speed and force, the Gunnison scours the canyon at more than an inch per century. I found out that the different sides of the canyon are carved differently, and it's due to the fact that one side gets more sunlight. In fact, the Black Canyon gets its name because some parts of the gorge receive only 33 total minutes of sunlight per day.
This really is a hidden jewel. Like, you know, I didn't really know anything about this park at all until we started to plan this trip. Actually, Kat was the one that discovered it. She does all the research. But this is a total hidden gem. It is spectacular. If you're ever out in this area, come and see it.
Total length of the Black Canyon is 48 miles, with only 14 miles inside the national park.
And straight down. Oh my goodness.
You can kayak the Gunnison River and see these peaks from a totally different vantage point.
So the Grand Canyon of the Gunnison was first a national monument created in 1933, and then in 1999 it became a national park.
I guess they had to wait for some ranchers to die before they could acquire the land to make it, you know, to complete the national park. But you know, that's happened. Here it is, one of the lesser known. You got to come out and see it. Spectacular. Takes your breath away.
The other thing is there is no food and no water here anywhere, so come prepared, like we did in our last video for Arches National Park with our dual cooler combo. We'll link that at the end of this video.
So the other thing about this is, like Kat was saying before, these are some of the worst roads in a national park we've come across. But what I don't get is there are no guardrails on some of these turns, and it is a sheer drop-off. I mean, you know, 1,000 feet down, 3 feet away. It's crazy.
We found it weird. Do you?
Okay, we found a guardrail. They got some guardrails out here. Well, at least one.
Tell us in the comments if you think they should add guardrails too.
Okay, so this is the Chasm View Overlook. It is totally accessible. They have a ramp. It is dirt that they, you know, a ramp that you can take a wheelchair down. So it is 100% accessible. And the view, we found out it's 1,800 feet down to the bottom.
So while there are several trails that you can park and get out and walk, there are also at least 4 overlooks that are fully accessible. So this is a park that everybody can do. Wow, if you're afraid of heights, you don't want to look down. For those who are not afraid of heights, you're gonna love this view. This is Chasm View.
You are looking at some of the world's oldest exposed rock. In fact, nearly 2 billion years old, dating from the Precambrian era. Located in the least visited national park in Colorado and one of the lesser visited parks overall. Colorado's biggest cliff is the Painted Wall, where the magma had such a slow cooling rate that the crystals were able to grow up to 6 feet long. Our last overlook was Sunset Point. I can imagine more of the rock colors come out on a sunny day, but the Black Canyon made quite the impression under the clouds.
So we're here at High Point overlook. Well, it's not really an overlook. It's just called High Point, I think. It's the it's the highest point on this end of the south rim. It is the end. You got to go back out. There's no loop or anything like that. And I found some serious yet amusing signs. Let me show you.
We both loved the humorous way that these warnings were presented. Maybe if all of the parks did this, people would actually read the warnings. Quite the dark sense of humor.
And we also found this wonderful little picnic area with wildflowers everywhere. And you can hear the bird in the background just going off. So we're going to end our day here and end today's video. Take care, safe travels, and we'll see you next time. So we found out that there is a north rim and a south rim, just like the Grand Canyon. And just like the Grand Canyon, the north rim is closed. They've had a bunch of spring rains and snows, and the road over on that side is dirt. So they've completely closed that down for now. It'll open up later this summer.
Hey everybody, how are you? We are here in the Redwoods, and I guess we wanted to talk to you a little bit more about our adventure since the last video.
Man, did I make the biggest mistake navigating that I ever have on any road trip. So all that information that we gave you in that last clip, yeah, I learned that because the owner of the hotel we were going to stay at that night called us when we were in Moab, getting ready to leave, to tell us that the route we were going in, I-70, over and down into Crawford, yeah, it's closed right where you see that red X. And then she said, and if you're going to the national park, the north entrance is snowed in too, but it doesn't really make any difference because the dirt road leading to it has just been a mess of mud from the rains. So it didn't even occur to me that a national park would have a dirt road leading into it. But she told us how to get to the south rim, and so we were able to go. And since she was nice enough to save us from being stuck on I-70 as well, we decided we were gonna head back to Crawford to spend the night, and that's that green route you see.
So actually when we got off the main road and we're traveling towards Crawford, you could tell, I could tell it was a very conservative area, so to speak. You know, you can hear the Deliverance banjos playing in the background, but it turned out to be a great little town. Loved it, had a great time, was safe the whole time, felt safe. I mean, so it turned out okay.
So we get to Crawford and I pull up to the Hitching Post Inn, cute little hardware store. I'm thinking, oh yay, great gift shop, right? Nope, working hardware store. So I walk in and I hear the tinkle of the doorbell and the cheery voice of the lady I talked to on the phone earlier that day saying, well, I guess Miss Cat is in the house. And immediately we knew we'd made the right decision to come to Crawford. A couple minutes later, Harry came in, and then their dogs joined us, and her husband joined us. They're really nice people.
Yeah, they are. They're great people. And they recommended a place in town and recommended a good coffee shop as well for Kat for the next day. We ended up going to the North Fork Boardwalk Bar and Grill. And I tell you, it was some of the best burgers we had on the trip.
So the next morning, we got up, went to get coffee at the Lazy J Coffee House, and It was adorable, filled with people, great souvenirs. I got some bourbon-soaked coffee beans that were amazing. And they didn't even look at me like I was a crazy Californian when I ordered an oat milk latte with an extra shot. After grabbing coffee, we made our way to Mesa Verde National Park. And that was an adventure. And we'll cover that in the next video. So we hope you subscribe. If you had a good time, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Before you go, we want to show you some of the weird and wonderful things we see on the road. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.